Good morning, viewer. Bien this year, here's a most amazing news for our viewers. It is only the last few decades that neurology, a diverse group of cells found in the brain that perform a variety of functions to support neurons, have been the subject of research. Prior to that, brain research focused heavily on the role of neurons. But as investigation continues, scientists increasingly suspect that these cells, often called glial cells or nerve cells, may play an important role in psychiatric illness such as depression and schizophrenia. When you think of the brain, we are usually thinking about neurons, but that's only about 50% of what makes up the brain, says Sukumar Vijayaraghavan, PhD professor of physiology and biophysics at the University of Colorado School of Medicine, who works at the intersections of neuroscience and society and previously led a lab dedicated to studying the brain's signaling mechanism. The other cells, neuroglia, are believed to function as brain's janitorial staff, keeping the environment appropriate for optimal neuronal signaling. Then scientists discovered that neuroglia have their own signaling systems different from the electrical signals neurons give off. Glial cells have calcium signals. We started wondering that all these cells do, says Vijay Raghavan, who first took up an interest in glial cells more than 20 years ago. A subject of neuroglia called astrocytes seem to be intricately connected to how the synapses work in neurons, and because these cells play a role in the brain stress response, it is possible that they are connected to some mental health condition. Calcium signaling was the key impetus to this field in this sense that we found that they have elaborate mechanisms of signaling to each other, to the neurons, and to the blood vessel in the brain. Vijayaraghavan says, we previously thought they were non-excitable cells, but it is actually a unique form of excitability. In 2017 study, researchers in China showed that when astrocyte function is compromised, animal models tended to develop depression-like symptoms, Vijayaraghavan said. Andrew Novak, MD, PhD, assistant professor of psychiatry, write in a recent commentary that this is just one example of how glial cells seem to play a critical role in psychiatric illness. Not only do astrocytes from individuals with psychiatric disorder have different characteristics than those of healthy control participants, but there are also differences based on their critical and clinical profiles too, they write in the essay. For example, one study enrolled individuals with schizophrenia who had either responded to or failed a trial with clozapine and antipsychotic medication. Astrocytes from both groups had deficits in glutamate signaling. The cool part is what happened next. When they exposed astrocytes to clozapine, glutamate signaling normalized. Bravo, sir. But only in the group of clinical responders. They continue. Behind this exclusive report.